Hey everybody, it's Tammy. Welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Happy New Year. Wishing you much happiness, health, and a prosperous 2022. Today I'm going to be working on a 12 by 12 gallery depth wood substrate, and I've already gessoed the board with gold gesso by Daniel Smith. You can use a different color or a different brand if you would like to, but you do want to seal that wood substrate so it doesn't create bubbles in your work. So I'm going to be putting some clear glass down, and the rationale for me painting white here is because it's clear glass and I don't want to pick up that gold hue underneath the glass, and so I'm painting it white so that it will stay light and bright and pretty and the focal point of the piece. And today I'm going to be testing out a new epoxy. A company, Artistry Epoxy, contacted me and asked if I would be willing to give their resin a try and give them some feedback. And so, of course, I was happy to do so. They sent me the packet the end of last year. And for those of you who know me, you know I'm in the process of doing a studio build on my property where my home is, and doing that around the holidays and in the middle of a pandemic where there are supply and demand issues. It's been a little bit stressful, to say the least, but it's okay. We're moving forward and we're getting it done at whatever pace I can get it done. So I am happy to give this new epoxy a try today, and along with some other items that I purchased new from other suppliers that we'll talk about as well. So I'm just laying my clear glass down there on that white section that I painted. This is not the best glass in the world that I've purchased. It's not like a fire glass where it's reflective. This is just a crushed glass from Micheals, a vase filler, and you can see it almost has like a grayish, dingy tone to it. And so that's why I wanted to go ahead and paint that white under it, to make sure that I give it the best light coming through it possible. I'm going to leave some of those jaggedy bits that have sprayed away from the edge, because this is going to be an abstract piece. I like the random roughness looking of it. Now I'm using some of their golden vase filler and putting that just around the edges of it. And that really looks pretty over top of the gold backdrop. For those of you that are new here, I am a multimedia artist. I love to work with resin. I do that quite a bit. I'm also an acrylic artist. I like to work with soft pastels, inks of any kind, watercolor some, and mixed media. You know, I'm just an art junkie, I guess you can say, but resin is certainly a passion of mine as well. But I try to dabble a little bit in all of it here. I'd say that I do a lot of resin more than I do anything else, but I'm hoping that in 2022, I will probably touch more on my acrylic. Okay, so what I showed you there was just the package that I got from Artistry Epoxy, and the samples that they provided me. Actually, they sent 2 different samples. I appreciate that so much. And I'm going to be using their art epoxy today. This is a very thick viscosity, and it was really quite a challenge for me to get out of the bottle and then to mix. It was almost comical, but after doing my videos and putting this together, I went back on their website because it had been a little while since I had been to their website and read up on this epoxy. I wasn't really sure which of their epoxy they were going to be sending me, but it tells you that it's a very thick viscosity resin and that it would work best if you warmed it in a warm bath, warm water bath before you even take it out of the bottle, and that will help loosen some of this resin and make it easier to stir and incorporate and make it more palatable. I do have this on a hyperlapse, so even what you're seeing is a lot faster than what it took me to get it out of the bottle. But with that being said, and very thick viscosity resin tends to get a lot of bubbles in it, but I'm going to be very honest with you, I was easily able to get any bubbles out of this resin. Of course, I'm putting it on as a thin layer, and so it's easily managed. Those bubbles were easily managed with my heat source. So if you are pouring or however else you might be deciding to use this, I just advise you to do your research on any epoxy that you use and make sure you understand how to use it, what the safety recommendations are for epoxy, especially the epoxy you're using. This one particularly has 0 VOCs. It is up to 500 degrees heat resistant, which is fantastic. It's like one of the highest of the epoxies out there. And so it's a good resin. I was very happy with it, to be honest with you. And I enjoyed using it, and I appreciate them sending me that sample so that I could share it with you guys and, let you know what else is out there. Yes, I'm still trying to incorporate the resin over there on the sideline. I was having a little bit of a time, but please don't let that deter you whatsoever. It really was a very good resin. Had I acquainted myself again with the information that they put right out there for you, I would not have had this issue. So I'm just being very clear about that, and that the problem was mine more than theirs. Or it was mine, period. Okay, so I'm going to take my stir stick here and I'm going to start incorporating this. I've got my timer on, and it's a good time for me to tell you guys that if you're new to my channel and you're finding some benefit in learning from me, I would love it if you would consider hitting that like button, leaving me a comment, and hitting that subscribe button and the all bell. I would really greatly appreciate that. Also, for everybody, it really helps any YouTuber for you to just let the commercials run. I am not monetized as of yet, but for many YouTubers that are monetized, they benefit from you watching the commercials, and more so than the likes, the comments, the subscribes. Those are very beneficial as well. Those are milestones YouTube looks for certain things, but as far as monetizations go, those commercials are what means so much. But as for me, I'm not monetized as of yet. I'm hoping that will come very soon, but I wanted to throw that out there. That's my little commercial for the day. And many people just don't know that, but there you go. Many YouTubers work very, very hard to get this free, these free learning tutorials out to you guys so that you can learn from them and grow your own art knowledge and maybe even business. So I think I've changed over from the stir stick I was using back over to a big popsicle stick. Yes, I did. There it is. Okay, so I'm just drizzling along the glass filler that I've put in. And I'm just drizzling enough to make sure that it comes in contact with the glass that I've laid down. I'm not trying to drown it. As a matter of fact, if you try to put too much resin over your glass, what's going to happen is you're going to take that dazzle away from it, and it's just going to look like a clump of plastic sitting there. All right, new product alert. I am currently trying to open, but I have resin on my hands. It is a mint matte pigment paste from Color Joy and from Dryer Days Art Studio. And it is a beautiful, soft, turquoisey green color. Very, very pretty. It's soft but vibrant. I hope that makes sense. It sounds like an oxymoron, doesn't it? But hey, that's me. I'm an artist. I just do my work. I'm not a walking dictionary, but anyways, I am going to finally get this open. You want to make sure that when you open your pigment pastes that you're incorporating those pigments in with any type of binders that are in there. These are very highly pigmented, and you want to make sure it's dispersed along any of those binders. And this particular pigment paste will only set when it's in resin and resin is properly mixed. This is not paint. This is not something that you can incorporate into anything else. It needs to be put in resin, and I love it. This is a gorgeous pigment paste. Most of her pigment pastes are absolutely spectacular. They're gorgeous. I love them. Catherine Dreyer did an outstanding job in getting these into her shop. They are beautiful. All right, so I'm just putting that in with my resin and mixing that up very well. You really only need just a very small amount. Look at how pretty that is. You really only need a very small amount of the pigment paste to make a saturated color. And this is the Color Joy Darkest Blue. I'm not sure if she still has this one. This was one of her newest in the Color Joy collection. I know she has several blues there. I'm not sure 100% if this one is still part of the Color Joy line. But at any rate, if she has any, it's called Darkest Blue. If you like it, I'd go run and get it, because I'm not sure how long she will have them. She may. I'm not sure. All right, so, and this is like a midnight blue. It's almost like a blackish blue color. Now this is Angel White. It is a Rez pigment, and it is by far my favorite white pigment paste. And I just love it. It's the white paste that I use to make my beach waves and such with, that make some gorgeous waves and lacing and cells within it. It's just beautiful. And by the way, guys, I am an affiliate of Dryer Days Art Studio. This is the only affiliate that I am a part of, and I do get a very, very small commission from the sales of anything used from my code. And you don't have to use my code, but you're welcome to. But it's LOVRES10, LUVRES 10, and the LUVRES are capitals. I'll have that listed down in my description, along with any of these, all of these pigments and supplies that I'm using to make this. Everything will be listed, and with any links that I have available to me in my description, because I want you guys to be able to grab these easily. And again, it's the Dryer Days affiliation that I have, and she doesn't sell resin at this point, but she does sell these beautiful glitters and stones, and glitters and pigments, micas, molds as well. So give her a shout out, give her a look, see what you think. Make sure you check out Artistry Epoxy as well. You can see that I'm putting it out there, and it's staying until I move it. It's actually pretty easy to work with, other than the challenge that I had because of my own lack of preparation, I guess you can say. It works beautifully. I like the fact that I have time before my resin moves, where in places where I don't want it to move. I want to have that control, and that's what I like about this. Everybody is different, but I will tell you that if you go to their website, they have a lot of different types of resins. Some are medium viscosities, some of them are a fast set epoxy. So this one here that I'm using has got the extra UV stabilizers in them, and so no VOCs, and you know, heat tolerant up to 500 degrees. Personally, I see a lot of benefit with giving it a try. I believe the work time for this epoxy is around, I want to say 25 minutes, but I may be incorrect on that. And if so, I will put it here on the screen and make you aware if there's a difference in that number. But I felt like I had plenty of time to work. And this is dry to the touch within 8 hours, I think. And so, you know, that's not bad. At least for me in my practice, I can see the great benefit in having it, the ability to touch and move to the next layer, you know, much sooner than I can with some of the other art resins out there on the market. And I've tried many of them at my expense. Some I like, some not so much, but I do like this one. All right, so because of the thick viscosity, one of the things that I was concerned about was my ability to move the resin, the pigments around within the resin. And as you can see, I'm not having a hard time with that at all. I have my heat gun set on low, and I am able to move the pigment the direction I want to move it in. This was a total of 4 ounces of resin. I have taped over on my sides the edges of my board. I particularly like to have a clean edge. I like the neatness of that wooden edge to be clean and crisp looking. I think it's very modern looking. And at this point, I'm just using my fingers and getting up next to that glass with the resin, making sure that I have contact with those borders and not missing any spaces. Look at the cells and the lacing over on that upper right-hand corner. That, in person even, it was beautiful. It really was. Loved that part of it. You'll see in my next layer that I kind of cover over that part of it, but it was a lot of fun making that area so beautiful. And there's several other areas with the white. I didn't move the dark color on the bottom left as much as I did the top right, but I had no problem moving these pigments whatsoever. All right, I decided to use my torch and go over, and the reason why I did this, my bubbles were gone, but the reason why I did this was because I wanted to see if I could make these areas with the cells and lacing even come out more, and they did in some areas that were really pleasing to me. And so that's the reason why I went over it with my torch at that point. All right, here we are the next day, and actually, I'm not sure if this is the next day or that evening, but I've gone ahead and it's that evening. I have mixed up some clear, and I'm just sprinkling over my glass again and all over my surface again. I just love that mint color. Both of these, or all of these pigments are opaque. With the white, I don't know that I mentioned earlier that I added probably around 8 drops of Piniata alcohol ink inside of the Angel White. Because I wanted the white to move and leave some softer areas instead of more denser areas. Usually when I want to do that, we'll add some of the alcohol inks to it. But you can see I have some softer areas of white and some more denser areas of white, so it did exactly as I wanted it to do. Now I've got some Iridron gold, and I don't know why I moved my camera. I just had the perfect view, and then I had to go move the camera. And I apologize for this, guys. I really am very sorry, but I've gone ahead and mixed everything, my colors, everything up ahead of time. The Iridron Gold is from Laura's Art Corner, and again, I'm using the Rez Angel White from Laura's Art Corner here on this layer. And here's that Iridron Gold. Iridron is a powder pigment. It's highly concentrated, and it does float. So I'm just adding it here and there, and I'll be moving these around again as well. Now golds are a type of yellow, and so with the gold over the blue, just be mindful that it's going to kind of change the shade of, especially the mint matte color just a little bit. Remember, these are layers, so it's not actually changing the color. It's going to look like it from my video. But in person, you can see the depth of the layer of gold over top of that beautiful mint color. And that's the benefit to resin and the ability to do these layers. So of course I'm only moving that clear, the white, and the gold at this point. All of my other pigments are dry, and so I'm just moving these pigments around as I want them over top of the first layer. And I'm taking what clear I have left, and again, kind of sprinkling that over my clear glass, because I'm going to be adding more embellishments on top of this glass, and want it to be able to adhere nicely to it. A little more of my Iridron Gold, and this is their pale gold, again from Laura's Art Corner. All right, so what I'm doing here is laying down some cobalt blue glass glitter from Dryer Days Art Studio. And these are blue and gold diamonds from Laura's Art Corner. They really do sparkle pretty. And really a beautiful complement to the cobalt blue glass glitter that I had put down previously. And these are Aqua glass beads. They're like a really small micro bead, and these are really great for adding texture in and about your work. It really adds to the dimensionality. They're very, very small, but if they're concentrated within a certain area, it becomes a place of focus for your eye to wander. And it's just another size, a slightly different color that's very complementary to what I'm using here. And just something really, really cool to use. So you need to kind of think outside of the box, and don't be afraid to incorporate different things in your art. These are sold at Laura's Art Corner. I've also found some AB colored ones on Amazon. So Laura's Art Corner, she has a few different colors, I believe. I'm about out of this color. But I really like the effect that it gives. And now I'm adding some gold crushed glass. It's like they look like little solid gold chunks of glass, and I bought these off of Amazon. They are a Let's Resin product, and I do use them quite a bit just because I like the size of them. I like the random shapes of them. Make them look like really like little gold chips. Okay, these pieces are blown glass pieces. I don't know who the artist was. I purchased them from Jazzy's Treasures. And I will make sure I put the website in the description, their website in the description. I opted to do these blown glass pieces rather than having crystals in this, because I want this to be more of an abstract art piece rather than something like a geode. They're very similar in nature, but I really like this cobalt in here with these other blue greens that I just think they really pop. So I'm just pouring the glass right over top of them. I'm sorry, I'm pouring the resin right over top of the glass, making sure it has some good adhesion to the cluster of glass that's already on it. And I'm just sprinkling it again all over the whole area, so that anything that I've laid down prior, to make sure that it's going to stay there. You see me doing a lot of cleaning as I go. It's just my thing. You'll get used to seeing that. I like a neater work surface, but it helps me to think what I want to do next. It's just one of those things. Okay, so now I have some cubic zirconias. These are big size cubic zirconias. These are 8 millimeters. I purchased these from Laura's Art Corner. They're just beautiful. And another way, a different way to capture the light, a different type of texture. You know, anything to add to that dimensionality and texture, to keep that your eye moving to your piece. All of it needs to be complementary of one another, but you also want to help draw the eye in some of these areas, and these will certainly, especially as they catch the light, add that. I just want to take the opportunity while I can here to thank everybody who continue to come and support my channel. It means everything to me, and I thank you so very much. If for anyone who's new to my channel, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button and join my family. You'll be notified through YouTube when I post a new video, and I welcome you here. Thank you for being here today. Hope you'll come back. I was hoping to be in my studio by now, guys, but it's probably looking like more towards spring. Again, just because of the shipping concerns and everything now. Everything just keeps getting pushed back, and it seems like when one contractor gets behind, they all get behind. But you just have to kind of roll with it, and that's where I'm at with it right now. But once I get that started, I am planning on adding an additional video per week and doing an art vlog, and spending more time with you guys as well. So I hope that you'll come and be a part of that as well. I have several areas around that main cluster. One is on the bottom left. You see one there just above the main cluster there that I've worked on the right hand side. And you know, there's just different elements of texture, glass, and different types of bits here and there. And at this point in time, I'm just adding a little bit more of this and that, and I'm taking my my stick there, as you see, and I'm just making sure that anything that I've added is being pushed down into the resin and making good contact with it. There's nothing else on my stick other than just a dry stick helping the pieces that I've put down adhere to the resin. I'm adding a couple of more of the cubic zirconia. And here we go. Here's a close-up of what it looks like. This is that lower left corner that I was working on, and you can see just the depth and the dimension of the different layers that were created on this piece. There are those micro beads there. You see them kind of dispersed in and around, and the gold and the blue and gold diamonds and the glass glitter. You know, it all works together to make a coherent and beautiful piece. We've had some very, very dreary days here this week as I've made this, and I'm just 2 seconds. I'm going to show you this outside, all dry and ready to go. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much for being a blessing to me, and I hope that I've been one to you. We'll see you next time, and here is the final with a glimpse of sun through the clouds. This is what we have here. Look at those pretty edges, nice and clean and crisp. Blessings, guys. Take care until next time.